One, go.
Shalom, Yekutiel Ben Yaakov here, broadcasting from Kfar Tapuach in Israel. This week's parsha, Parsha Shlach, is an interesting parsha because really this is, in a nutshell, the history of the Jewish people. The possibility to be redeemed, to enter the land, to bring an end to all of our sorrows, or, God forbid, preventing ourselves from taking the necessary steps and coming home to Israel. We see it so clearly in this week's parsha. We'll draw a parallel in this brief broadcast to what's going on today around the world, and particularly in the United States. The Jewish people are about to enter the land. Spies are sent into the land. Moshe sends them in, and they come back and report horrible things to Moshe and the Jewish people. They come back and they report that we can't conquer the land. I mean, God promised you the land. He just performed all these great miracles, the exodus from Egypt, the splitting of the sea. And here, our leaders, this is not just ordinary people that were sent into the land from some intelligence unit, 18-year-old soldiers that were sent to the land. These were the leaders of Israel. It says, Shlach Anashim. These were Chashu people, these were the Gedolim, these were the leaders. And an overwhelming majority, 10 out of 12, come back and report that we can't conquer the land, there are giants in the land, and they forget that God promised them the land. They forget that God is the Almighty and He has the power. He's stronger than the Egyptians, He's stronger than the giants in the land, He's stronger than Obama and Trump or whoever. The United Nations, we forget this. We are people that have faith and we lack faith. And that's the story in this week's Parsha. And for every day of that 40-day journey to spy on the land, for every day we suffered a year in the desert, prolonging our suffering before we were able to enter into the land. 40 years in the desert. And the elders had to die out because they had a mentality which could not possibly be fit for redemption and for entering the land in the proper state of mind that's necessary to build the land and to build the temple. And it's a little bit reminiscent of, God forbid, of what's going on now with the corona, that the elders, this is a plague that only strikes the older people. It has a little bit of deja vu here. But continuing, last week's Parsha, we had a similar theme with the Mitonanim, the Jews that complained. They wanted to go back to Egypt, where they had watermelons and where they had garlic and where they had zucchini. Despite the man, I mean, they were able to taste anything. The man that was coming from heaven and the heavenly clouds that were guarding them in the wilderness. Despite all that, they did not want to go into the land. Rashi explains that they were complaining because they were tired, and they were tired because they were advancing quickly over those last 3 days, and they were mitonanim, they complained. And of course we see the punishment there, that the fire came and ate up, it says, b'ktsei hamachaneh, at the ends of the land, and the commentaries explain that these were the ktzinim, the people that were inciting here, the people that were a part of this committee that was complaining and that wanted to stay there and didn't want to come into the land. They were the ktzinim, they were the gedolim. So we see this thing repeating itself, and it really reminds us of what's going on today. Let's not forget that the Chumash tells us, only 80%, only 20% left. 80% died out in Egypt already. They didn't even want to leave Egypt. And even those that left and had the faith and saw all the great miracles, even they lacked faith. And they were complaining, and the spies who were the leaders, they lacked the necessary faith, and we were punished 40 years in the wilderness because of that. And we see the same thing, unfortunately, before our very eyes today. We see the riots. It's unbelievable. And I speak even to my own children. I say, come home to Israel. What are you waiting for? What do you want to be like the mitonanim in the desert? Do you want to be like the spies? Do you want to suffer more suffering? We have a golden opportunity. This is obviously a sign from heaven to come home to Israel while you still can. Yes, The airports are closed, but we can still get you here. You can still make Aliyah. There's still a window of opportunity to return home. What are you doing there? Why are you staying there? So I'm speaking to somebody on the phone, and he tells me, well, the riots didn't get to our home yet. It's only been 2.5 blocks away. What are you waiting for? For it to get to your home? Are you waiting for the infernos and the flames to burn your home down? Who are you going to call? The police? The mayor? They're bowing down already and kissing the feet of the mobs. The mobs are ruling the streets. You see it. In Seattle, we have CHAZ. There's already a new state. Maybe there'll be another new 50 states. Because the mobs are controlling the streets and the police are frightened to engage. In this CHAZ, it's a walled-in part of the city. And the police are not allowed to enter, and there are armed guards that are preventing people from entering, people from leaving. Is that, you say that, well, that couldn't happen here because it seems so crazy. Well, who would have believed a week ago, 2 weeks ago, that what we're seeing today could happen? Of course it can. The fire can come another 2 blocks and another block, and it can hit your home. And who will you call? The police can't protect themselves. They're killing policemen. And the police are receiving insane orders not to take the necessary steps. So this is really a perhaps a wake-up call and perhaps a last opportunity to come home to Israel. And it's still so easy to come home. It's still possible. Come home to Israel now. I mean, in the dog unit here, we'll do what we can to facilitate people who want to join us and who want to come here. But Israel still has an Aliyah program. People can make Aliyah and come here. And I definitely encourage all Jews, my own children, my friends, and my fellow Jewish brothers and sisters to heed the call and come home to Israel now.